want to keep running with this. So what I was saying is that I think that a lot of so a lot of the what we get to enjoy about life, what is worth having and doing and being in life, in the modern, in the present day, and for the last for maybe for the last, as hard as the last 400 years have been for America, for the world, and for the world in general, but especially American Africans, that and but also some of the privileges and the enjoyment of living as a human being in the last 400 years would be very different than other iterations in context in human experience. The last 400 years of human experience would lead up to, and now what we have now as present day is vastly different than what we had even 400 years ago or eons before that. Some of the progress that we've made, the social progress, but also the some of the technological progress, it is facilitated by some of the strong suit and advantage and stability of what has been the American nation, to my taste, to my perception. What is viable and has become, what is viable of and has become the United States, to my taste, to other people I've said, including Dr. Umar Johnson and many, that you would have nothing of that. Some of the American landmass it's a military advantage in that it's isolated as an island across two oceans. It's not as isolated as an island would be, because you can still go north and south to the Americas, and then the Panama Canal would be very significant in connecting the Americas as a military, but also as a point of commerce. The advantage and tactical advantage of the Panama Canal would be very significant, and also America had a lot to do with that, and there may be more history in how that came to be and what can come from the Panama Canal that can be appreciated. But the landmass of America has been a strategic military advantage that allowed some of the impermeability of it, also the Navy. But the footing of the American culture is viable partly by the American landmass. Also, if we're being honest, European society, Europeans in general, can be very they can be have a lot of ingenuity in things like bushcraft and surviving a wilderness and thriving in a wilderness. And there's a lot of ingenuity in European society, but it's also American European society. Americans can be very industrious and sturdy in fashion, survival, and techniques of survival, and even like science and know-how. American Europeans have that as a strong suit, I would say. A lot of, like, I had, for example, I was at an apartment complex, and there's a beautiful woman, the girl next door, I had a crush on her for many years as a neighbor, and she was just simply beautiful to me for a long time, and I thought about her a lot for a long time. Around the time of the pandemic, I actually had an opportunity to become her friend, because she was carrying a Bible one day, and I quoted a scripture that was my understanding of the entire Bible that I'll reference in the same series of videos that I'm going to get back to. But and then I also shared with her at that same moment insight that I had that I thought was inspiration from beyond myself or within myself, that I had while attending a church and being a member of a satellite attendee of a Black church, and then wanting to share it at a New Year's celebration, the New Year's of 2006. But I actually drew a little bit of heat from how I was behaving and intending with this insight. But my insight had been, true love is to regard the best interests of another person with your heart. When I shared that with her, she looked at me different from being, the scripture was from Mark 12 and 14, or 14 and 12, that hear now, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one, and thou shalt love thy heart with all thy heart and with all thy soul and all thy might, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, for there are no commandments greater than these. Jesus Christ himself has said that. From that standpoint, I think that you have the capacity, the maturity, the license to be a upstanding, sober, respectful, tactful, productive citizen, adult par excellence, and to engage with any manner of activity or scholarship or learning or undertaking without injuring yourself or other people unnecessarily. If you can appreciate, hear now, Israel, the Lord thy God is one, and thou shalt love thy God with all thy might, and thy neighbor as thyself. For there are no commandments greater than these. Also, you are your neighbor and what you're worshiping as your Lord, and your Lord are you and your neighbor, and also what you're worshiping as your Lord is what my take on that is. And from that standpoint, you can operate without doing injustice to people because you recognize that you are one another, and all of you as a composite, but also as individuals, are what you are referencing when you speak of something great and profound. But when I shared that with her, she looked at me differently, and I got on to having experiences with her, and she had a lot of boyfriends. I met like at least 3 or 4 of her boyfriends over the years, and they were cool. But I had one time spilled oil on the parking lot, like the oil had dripped from my car, and I had like a landlord. She's actually cool. She stepped up to bat for me in different times, but at that time she wanted that stuff up off the parking lot. I don't care how you get it off. I just need that oil stain off the parking lot, and I actually didn't know how to get it off. I went to like some different some different car places, and they had some products you could put on top of it that would like soak it up, but it wouldn't get off. Then when she got to moving, just like a year after the pandemic, one of her boyfriends was there. He's like the sturdy. He's a cool dude. So like I met him like a couple months before that, and I was like trying to like study for my my CDL. And like when I was sleeping at night in the living room, and while I was studying to test for my learner's permit for the CDL. And then I heard my dad was like, he's not gonna pass that test. There's no way he cannot pass that test. There's no way, can't be done. No way, can't do it. No way. I heard that while he thought I was asleep. But then I needed to pass that test because I had a ticket to leave the hell out of Dodge to go to a training across the country for CR England to become a truck driver, and I needed to pass this permit. And I was up there with her and some of her friends, including like her boyfriend, and I was like I was actually celebrating before I had got the test that was gonna let me leave town on a ticket. And I was like, yeah man, I'm gonna have to study all night. He's like, oh man, that stuff sounds crazy, man. Man, try this, man. Just this. He wasn't saying it crazy. He's like, hey man, just use this real quick, man. Do this. It was like an over-the-counter supplement for brain health that's like available at at a pharmacy. Like I think it's like COQ10 or CoQ10. I was like, man, I'm not trying to take some. He's not. No, it's all good, man. It's legit. There's nothing bad in here. Just use this. It'll help you get over on that shit. And he wasn't saying like in a wicked way, but just like this is what you need to be alert and competent and pass what you want to pass, to do what you want to do. If this is what you say you want to do. So I took that pill, and I was it was a little bit scary to be that sober and that clear-minded, but I'll be damned if I didn't actually go through that and pass that test just like I needed to with something that he had to help me out with. Then when I needed to get that oil stain off not too long later, and she was moving, he had brought a damn water sprayer, like a hose from like some job that he had been at in the past. He borrowed like their sprayer, and he's like, oh yeah man, just so I gotta help her out, man. I can't do this for you, but just use this, man. It'll get that shit off there. So I sprayed the oil stain with the water hose and blasted the hell off, and I was good to go from there. So that's an example of how American Europeans can be when they love you as their friend. They're some of the best of lovers, I think. I haven't been lovers with them, but they're some of the sturdiest friends when they got your back about something, but they also know how to get over on a problem. That's some of American ingenuity and industriousness. However, you combine that with the strength in the strong suit of American African culture, labor, strength, intelligence, ingenuity, insight. You combine that the European ingenuity with that, and you have some of what America is. I've thought that the reason that people want to come to America from the world over to experience some of the benefit of America is because they want the liberty and the independence of being an American, what that constitutes. To me, that's actually in the spirit of the Cowboys. The Cowboys are Americana par excellence. And actually, as one person said that whites have usually never been called boy. So when you're referring to cowboy, you may be referring to black American African people when you say cowboy. but we come to America because we want to be cowboys.